I'd like to welcome our newest sponsor, Schecter Guitars. This holiday season, go over to schecterguitars.com and see what high-quality goodies they have waiting there for you. Premium feel and unbeatable price. See why guitarists like Isaac Brock from Modest Mouse, Robert Smith from The Cure, and Ernie C. from Body Count all love Schecter Guitars. A wide variety of styles and builds with high-end components and affordable prices for touring guitarists. Built to last. Go treat yourself and try something new you've always wanted to check out. Schecter Guitars has it all. What's up, everybody? Our partners at Izotope are having a huge holiday sale. Go to izotope.com/deals to save 30% or more on pro mixing and audio repair tools. Save over $400 on RX11 Advanced. Solve the unsolvable with their complete 44-tool audio repair and enhancement suite. That's izotope.com/deals. These savings are for a limited time only. Don't wait. Hey, what's happening? Before we jump into the show, I wanted to see if you had any music on a hard drive. You have a band, you have a project, and you want to self-release your own music. Well, there's an easy way to do it. You can go to distrokid.com/VIP/hyphenate and go get your music up on all the streamers. You keep 100% of your royalties, and you can get 30% off by using this code. It's a great, easy way to get your music up on the streamers and share it with your fans, your friends, your family, your mom, your dog, everybody. Everyone wants to hear it. But go to distrokid.com/VIP/hyphenate, HYPHENATE, and send me the link. I want to hear it too. Send your mom the link. Send your dog the link. They all want to hear it too. What's happening? Welcome to Hyphenate Halftime on Monday, January 19th. Happy MLK Day. Fuck ICE. And let's fight fascism.
Yes.
Joining me, as always, is my anti-fascist partner in all things justice and well-being, Mr. Aaron Farley. How do you do today, sir?
Welcome. Yes. I think
peace
that
for
too.
all and all for men.
Peace for all.
Jesus.
And I'm constantly surprised that people aren't out there buying tons of spike strips and figuring out maybe where to throw them in front of certain things.
I saw a spike
I'm wondering
strip.
if that hasn't happened. I mean, I know why it hasn't, but you know.
I think I saw a thing if you buy 6-inch nails and put them through tubing at different directions, like if you buy a hose and cut the hose into about 6-inch strips with 6-inch nails, and then you just pound them in through any which way in random directions, and you kind of have a collection of little spike strips. Maybe 6 inches.
They definitely
right. Maybe you got to go to 9-inch nails. Maybe it's more of a Trent Reznor thing. The biggest nails you can find. Just and you buy a green hose, like a watering hose or any other kind of hose you can find out there, and then you cut that into about 6 to 9 inches, and then you hammer those in multiple directions in kind of an array, the circular version of it. And then you just
obviously only use them for a sculpture in your yard or something. You definitely don't want to. You definitely don't want to use them for anything. But I'm just curious. It just keeps coming into my mind of the spikes.
Spike strips out there. Yeah,
that would look so great. A spike strip.
I've
strip.
I've seen them made before. Well, on today's show, we are going to look back on last week's episode where we interviewed Sohrab Habibion and Johnny Temple of Akashic Books, and we talked about Rick Froberg's monograph, Plenty for All: The Art of Rick Froberg. It's a beautiful book. Sohrab was so nice to send me one over the holiday. And I know you haven't gotten to see it, but we talked a little bit about it. I don't know. Did you have a chance to look at it online, or are you familiar with any of Rick's work? It's hard to, I guess, talking visual art on a audio podcast. I suppose it can be done.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at whatever was kind of online and some of the work. I love the idea of that it is it's a strange thing, right? Because he just passed away, but then also he had been interested in making a book, or he had also, was a designer in his own right and an illustrator and a painter, and did artwork for multiple people's albums and also a lot of personal work. And sounded like he was always kind of drawing and working on things. I mean, I loved when he talked about when he was in Obits with him, where he's like, I don't know where he had the time to do all this, because he wasn't making artwork when he was with me, and when we were doing Obits, we were like, we were on tour, we were like together all the time. So I don't know when he was doing all this stuff. I love that.
You'd find all his artwork just being made. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I mean, definitely a special person. I only had the opportunity to cross paths with him a handful of times. And to me, he struck me as very kind of quiet and kind of, keeping to himself. And so it was one of those things, I knew he had done the artwork. I remember we were on Sub Pop at the same time as Obits were. And so we'd cross paths and I'd see the artwork and stuff. And it's just like, what is this? It kind of reminded me too, because again, we're going back 10, 15 years, there was sort of this sort of sign painting renaissance.
Mm-hmm.
There was a bit of a throwback kind of 50s retro new again thing, but his forms and lines always had this kind of like a surreality to it or something. It almost would go into like abstraction, which was always so interesting, but it would play on that, almost have this like Middle Eastern or sort of neo retro throwback, like foreign sort of font or something, it was like, is this like a script? I mean, you realize it's nothing. It's just a figure. Like it kind of looks like lettering, but it's just sort of a squiggle or of some kind. You're like, wow, it's mysterious in a almost like Masonic sort of, idea. Like are these, do they represent something? Like, you're asking questions of a thing. Like I recognize everything, but I don't know what any of it means.
Yeah.
Kind of feeling.
I always kind of felt like his work is very California. It's very San Diego. It's very like pulling from car culture, and yeah, totally. Like car culture, tattoos, like old comic books, like 50s kind of comic books, like you're saying, like old kind of screen printy feeling, old newspaper, like that kind of thing. But then everything that he did seemed funny, but not haha funny.
Yes.
It seemed like it had
in a way, like
it always had like a little bit of like a wink and a nod. Oh yeah, those are great. Yeah.
Like this Obits cover has like almost like, it looks like a piece of a large intestine or a squid's tentacle in the shape of letters. Is that an ES or is it nothing? It's just a symbol or of like 50s sort of like figures or illustrations you'd see like a child's book, like old golden books and things, and so there was a lot of that definitely kind of throwbacky sort of stuff, but in the same way where it didn't feel right.
Yeah. It feels like taking a lot of kind of timeless ideas or ideas from maybe childhood, like that would have been the time that he grew up, right? He's probably like 10 years older than me. And so he probably grew up in the 60s and 70s. And so this was a lot of the things that reminded him of childhood, like the same reason why, you and I, when we see those movies from the 80s,
right. Yeah.
No matter how bad they are, how whatever, you look at it and you're like, oh, right. Those were the days or whatever. But then I always felt like his stuff almost felt like he was painting a collage. Like he was taking images from all these different places and then putting them together almost like in a design fashion. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it's like an ink sort of thing, you know what I mean?
Like a little bit of like Raymond Pettibone and a little bit of that, like obviously very similar influences between those two. And then but I think a lot of like car, like pinstriping, car culture,
like Popeye or something like this,
like
kind
his,
of like
but even like
sort of marine.
Yeah, like his inking style. Also, it felt like he was using like a beautiful brush and making like beautiful lines, like a car pinstriper would make or something.
Right.
Yeah, but then everything was kind of funny and graphic, and like those, like you said, like a lot of like swamis, obviously.
Sure.
And I feel like that was his. I don't know. I feel like we've talked about this before, but even like it actually made me listen to. I was like, God, I haven't listened to Obits forever, and I went back and listened to Obits all day. Actually, all morning this morning, I was listening to
that's
them.
funny. I was listening to Hot Snakes last week.
And I mean, Hot Snakes is my go-to band. They're my go-to if I'm just like, what music do I want to listen to? Like, I kind of want to. I'm driving, and I can't really think of anything. I always
it's great
start
driving
with Hot
music.
Snakes. Yeah, and I just always start with it because it is. It's kind of the perfect rock and roll band to me. It's like it has a little bit of garage. It has a little bit of weird time signatures. The lyrics are weird. Two different singers, so you get like the multiple. You get like a lot of back and forth, and then, but it's like the whole time it's driving. Even the slow songs are always like driving forward. Like nothing's ever sitting back. And and listening to Obits, I was like, God, I never really thought of Obits being like garage rock, but it really is like super bluesy, like garage rock. So good.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. It's a funny, what would Sohrab call it? Like, big, dumb rock and roll, big dirty rock and roll. Yeah.
But I would call it
he had a
small,
handle on
smart
it.
rock and roll.
I think he had a handle on something, or was plugged into some other kind of, just source, creative source. Either like that, or as it filtered through him and through his voice and his words and guitar, he was like, okay, it's like world building. Like it was always felt like you were kind of looking through a little window into another world, whether it's through the music or through the art. And you're like, huh? Like I recognize this, but it's coming at me sideways in a way that isn't even cloying or like annoying. You know what I mean? We're like, wait a second, that's a different take on it, but not one that I'm like, I'm caught off guard. This is more fun. But when you think it would be too dark, you're like, well, no, wait, no, this is actually too silly. I mean, it's too silly. It's like so straight ahead. You're like, wait, huh?
Yeah.
Huh? Constantly kind of at odds, I think.
I feel like it definitely has, or he definitely has that kind of punk rock ethos that comes with that of like, are we serious? Are we funny? Are we just like taking are we just like making fun of things, or are we really mad at the government, or are we going to make the song that we're mad at the government, but it's kind of like, yeah, but whatever. I don't know. What am I going to do? Like it always had that. I think we were talking about this at the end of one of the podcasts of that. Did you listen to that song Garwood? That's a Hot Snake song.
Oh, yes. Right.
So, and it's like, and famously, I don't know how famously, I read this in it. It could be completely false, but that they were writing that song, and they write all the music first, and then he would come in with his lyrics, and they're listening to him sing that song Garwood, and then that's the name of the the bass player, Garwood. And it's like, Gar wouldn't listen. And then it goes on all these things, and he's like, wait, is he talking about killing me? And then the whole song is about like how Gar wouldn't listen, and so he's like going through different ways where he's going to kill the bass player. And he was like, huh. Okay. I didn't see that coming. But like it's obviously in a funny way, and it's a play on words off of his name. And but I think that is funny, because I think also a lot of the Hot Snake songs they sound kind of fun, and like it's all driving, and it's all like fun and rock and roll, and then the lyrics are dark a lot of times,
Yeah.
Like it's about like, it's very much like, keep your hands off me, like I don't want, the government and the police and whatever. There's just like little nods to all that, but then you just get like silly songs where the lyrics are just kind of like whatever. It's like a rock song. but yeah, I think the Hot Snakes are some of my favorite shows that I've ever been to. And then obviously coming from Jehu, obviously I'm too young to have seen Pitchfork, but
yeah.
But yeah,
it's so cool. Well, yeah, I hope everybody gets a chance.
And I can't wait to get the book.
to get the book. Yeah, it really is one of those sort of like formidable, like proper books. You know what I mean? Where again, we had a long talk before we even started on the microphones. We're saying, you know, you reach a certain age, you're a person of a certain age, and putting a big art book on your wall, it's like, okay, well, it's got to be good. You know, you can't move these things, or you don't even display things or something. It's like something you actually want to go back. And I think it kind of functions like a skate video where you get like I look at it and I get stoked. It's that kind of feeling like, oh right, yeah, okay, this is fun. This is an excited. I don't know. There's so much energy in all of the art and stuff. I don't know.
Like it makes you want to be creative.
Yeah, hard to talk about art, you know, but you know, we talk about dumber stuff for longer.
No, we don't. Come on, Randy. Everything on this is the smartest podcast I've ever heard or been a part of.
That should be, instead of smart lists, we'll just be the smartest.
Yeah.
The smartest podcast.
Yes, we are the smartest. Hopefully we'll be in that top 5.
We'll get nominated for golden voice.
Yeah.
What do you get? A Golden Globe.
The Golden Voice. The Golden Voice Awards.
The Golden Voice Awards.
Yeah. Not
related to the Golden Voice.
They should do that. I feel like Golden Voice needs to do that.
Maybe if Golden Voice just starts their own podcast network where it's like, you know, 4 bands by bands, 4 music by music nerds.
I mean, it's a little surprising that they haven't. I'm sure they looked at the numbers and were like, no, we're fine.
It seems like every time I drive by the El Rey in the last year, 2 years, 3 years, they host a lot of live podcasts at the El Rey, and I know that's owned by Golden Voice. Yeah, they just turn it into something.
So like, we don't need music anymore. We just need people. We need 2 people talking at each other in front of the live audience.
Can we go on tour? That'd be so much easier just to go on tour talking, podcasting, rather than having to bring gear or anything. It's even less gear than a DJ brings.
Yeah,
just understing tour.
Yeah, you don't even have to do anything.
Wait a second.
There's a couple of SM57s.
I think I understand. It seemed like Ian MacKaye had that talking tour for a while. Henry's had talking tours for
Henry definitely did.
Yeah,
his are legendary.
Yeah,
he's also Henry Rollins.
It's true.
That helps.
I don't lift nearly as many weights as
yeah.
Henry.
You don't have as many Ozzy Osbourne stories. I love his. Have you heard his Ozzy, like dealing with Sharon Osbourne and Ozzy?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
well, yeah, he had a podcast
good.
For a little bit. I don't know why he stopped it. It seemed like he'd be born for that kind of thing. Just jibber jabber in hot air on a microphone for hours.
He's like, wait, I can talk about myself for how long? Okay.
Maybe he wasn't getting paid enough. Maybe
Let's go.
He didn't figure out how to ethically monetize it to his liking.
I love that the film industry takes all the punk rockers and rappers and makes them cops.
He played a lot of police.
He played a lot of cops. Ice-T always played a lot of cops. Obviously, he was on
Law and Order.
Law and Order forever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they take all those guys and make them into cops. It's a conspiracy, Randy.
Of all the conspiracies, that's the one. Yes. I'll agree to that one.
Was Tupac ever a cop? I think he was.
Yeah. What's the film with James Belushi? What was that? I think that's his last movie. Tupac and James Belushi.
See?
I think were cops.
They make them all into cops.
Yeah.
Ice Cube, was Ice Cube ever a cop?
Ice Cube is a cop?
They put him in the military. He was in the military.
Gang Related. Gang Related was the 1997 film.
Was he a cop?
I
don't think he was a cop in that.
Okay, I don't know. Let's see. Belushi and Tupac as dirty detectives who frame a homeless man for the murder of an undercover DEA agent.
Yeah. Cops.
Damn.
Who else? What other rappers or punk rockers have been cops? How about Flea? Is Flea ever a cop?
He's been a cop? He's been a boss, and he was Michael J. Fox's boss in Back to the Future. He has been.
Oh right! Oh, that's amazing.
He's been no, I don't think I don't think Flea's ever been a cop.
Hey Siri, has Flea ever been a cop?
Flea was a nihilist in The Big Lebowski.
Oh right.
He was a henchman in the latest Obi-Wan Kenobi.
He's not a political punk though. They wouldn't make him a cop. They let Flea do whatever he wants.
Was who else? John Doe from X. I don't know if he ever played a cop, but he's done a lot of acting.
Okay.
Yeah,
we'll have to look this up.
Well, yeah. We'll
I think this is the thing.
We could figure this out. Yeah. Why when musicians become police? in the movies. What was the film we were supposed to watch this week?
I didn't watch it.
I didn't watch anything.
Sorry.
No, it was a crazy week.
I know. I was all morning this morning. I was going to watch it. It was it's the Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Total Recall. Okay, I did watch that 2 weeks ago though, so that is fresh enough in my brain. That's probably why I wasn't worried about. I did watch this week though was Broken Arrow with Christian Slater and John Travolta. John Woo's I think third American film. Really bad. 1995 or 95.
It's bad.
So bad, but hilariously bad. We like towards the end, we called our oldest or 12-year-old in like, do you want to watch a bad 90s movie? He's like, and so he watched it and it's just like, everything is in slow motion, and the quippy one-liner. Yeah. And like John Travolta's doing his campiest, it's horrific. It's the film they did before Face Off. John Woo took John Travolta and said, can you like be even crazier? Can you turn it up more? And I'll put Nicolas Cage in here versus you instead of Christian Slater. Like it was such an upgrade. Nicolas Cage versus Travolta just trying to outdo each other. When was the last time you saw that one? Face Off. God. I mean, I don't think I rewatch movies. So I think probably the last time I've seen any movie was within like 6 months of its release. I don't rewatch movies ever. Oh my God. Face Off is great. So you saw it probably in the 90s.
Yeah. It came out. I would have seen it in college. When was it? 97?
I think so. Yeah. 97,
okay.
98, somewhere in there. So the idea is that, they switch characters. So they're both, so the whole time it's Nicolas Cage trying to do a John Travolta impression and John Travolta trying to do a Nicolas Cage impression.
I love it so much.
And it just gives them enough plausible deniability, where you can just see them chewing the scenery and trying to and they meet each other. They're like, why do you look like me? Yeah. I want my face back. Like just acting crazier and crazier. So the good guys acting like the bad guy and the bad guys acting like the good guy. And they're just so like, it's hilarious.
It's the start of the extreme meta narratives that we're going to have to wrap our brains around for every single movie we're going to have to watch after 1997.
Oh Lord.
I feel like so many movies now, when you watch them, I'm having to think 3 steps back of like, wait, okay, that person, who is that person again? They are but we're in an alternate universe though. Right. So they're not in this universe, but they're the older version of their younger self. Yes? No? Yes. Okay. Wait, I'm tired. I'm
Joseph
sleepy.
Gordon-Levitt is Bruce Springsteen. No, is Bruce Willis. But he's got a bad nose.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah.
You know what? I believe it all.
I blame Inception. I blame Christopher Nolan for everything.
Oh my God. All of it. And I love those movies because then I know that I don't know. I'm like, nobody's understanding this anyway. So I'm good. I'm off the hook.
That's fine.
Because, we've talked about this before, how I have no clue, like after the movie's done. I love watching movies. I cannot remember them. So I can't, I have no clue what happened or anything. I get really into them. I'm like really emotionally involved. It's not like I'm looking at it going like, oh, this is really pretty, but I don't know what's going on. I know what's going on. I'm like into everything. And then the second we like turn around and the movie's done the next day, you couldn't get me to tell you what the plot was or anything.
Nothing.
Well, see, I have no memory for it.
Did you still, like when you'd go to the movie theaters when you were a kid or a teenager, did you have an after movie experience where you'd have to go and get like a piece of pie or cake or ice cream or something or a cup of coffee or go somewhere else after the movie and then talk about the movie?
No.
See, that was my experience. My mom was really cool for a lot of reasons. Yeah. One of the cool things she did is we would go see movies on a Sunday, a random afternoon or Saturday, nothing going on. And it's 2:00. You want to go see if they would catch a 3:00 or 4:00 or something. And then if we had time, we'd go to Olive Garden before and get the all-you-can-eat soup and salad with the breadsticks real quick. And I remember my mom coming in and being like, okay, we got a movie at 3:15. We're coming in at 2:30. Like, can we get in enough? Can you put it in real quick? We already know what we want. So before we even got sat down, they had the order put in. We'd get I remember the breadsticks and the salad and the soup. And I'd get a little cheese pizza or something. And then race over to the movie, see it. And then after, depending on, because we probably had nothing to do, we'd go somewhere else to, get a piece of pie or get a dessert or scoop of ice cream. And then especially if the movie was good, or vice versa, if we didn't have the movie ahead of time, we would go, try not to fill up on popcorn and go get Olive Garden or Chili's or something after. And then just talk about the movie and what did we like about it? What didn't you like about it? And we just nothing. to it. We're just talking about the film. And so I feel like that really like cemented my like, you'd have to not defend it, but at least go over it and like, oh yeah, this part, and you remember that part, and this part, that part. We'd talk it through. I don't know. I always love talking movies. I think, but I think
that's cool.
I had a mom who's interested in what a weird 10-year-old had to say about 90s cinema. So
yeah,
I was encouraged. I was an encouraged child, so I think I kept that up.
Yeah, that's cool. I don't think I ever talked about any of that kind of stuff with my parents.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And they not in a bad way, but I'm thinking now of like if we watch something of like, now let's do like let's talk about what that was about. What did you think about the characters? I don't think there was any of that. I think we're like, okay, well, someone make sure you rewind it.
All right, that's it.
I don't want to get charged tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I feel like it was a lot.
That's great.
I think we definitely used movies as a form of escapism, but also just getting out. Use their air conditioner, especially during the summer. It was cheaper to go to a movie, go to a $3 matinee than to run the AC all day. Also,
yeah, definitely.
Just try to go out and go somewhere that had free air conditioning.
I mean, especially back then, every single week there were new
good movies.
Yeah, and good
even the
movies.
Bad ones were good. Even the bad ones were at least shot on film. And they looked fine, and had orchestral scores and artists somewhere working on them.
Totally, I love when people put up the release schedules of like when the movies came out, like the old release schedules, like,
or even if you just see a marquee, you know what I mean? Yeah. You just see like what was shown on a random. April,
it's like Raiders of the Lost Ark, E.T. and something else, and you're like, what? On the same week?
Yeah, Beverly Hills
Star
Cop.
Wars.
Yeah, that was 1984.
And you're like, that's one week, and then the next week this one came out, and then Goonies came
next
out,
month.
And then,
that would be number one until the biggest movie that was ever released at the time came out.
Yeah,
that was great.
I mean, that's like the music release schedules when you see it in like 1993 and 1994 or whatever, and it's like Nirvana, Green Day, Tribe Called Quest, Tribe Called Quest, Guns N' Roses, and you're like, wow, Metallica. That was the day. Yeah.
Well, we just went to the Academy Museum here in LA. I'd wanted to go. My wife and kids had gone a couple of years ago when it first opened. I don't know why I didn't go, but
is that the Motion Picture Museum?
Yeah, it's great. It's right by LACMA, and they have a Jaws exhibit, I think till June of this year.
That's amazing.
We've been wanting to go. But it's hard. It's hard going anywhere. We have our youngest is 6. He doesn't want to go. He doesn't want to see any of this stuff. He was young. We were almost regretting it by the time we got to the parking lot. Before we went in, we're like, was this a bad idea? Should we really just?
You also have to drive all the way that far, and it's hard to explain to someone who's not in LA what that means. They're like, whatever. You're driving across town. You're like,
mid-city,
you don't get it. It could be a nice, easy 20 minutes, 25, 30 minutes. It also could just be an hour for no apparent reason. And it's stressful because you just don't know. And even when you get there, you might be like, parking lot's
can't find
full.
Parking. Yeah, we can't.
And then there's always a place over by the apartments that are behind the tar pits.
Right. Yes.
Right. Like there's that huge, there's a huge strip.
Things,
but then you have to walk like 7 blocks. And so if you have older kids, it's fine. But if you have little kids, you're like, my kid doesn't like to, he's not going to have to walk. So then you're like, well, how about this? We'll walk through the tar pits. We'll do we'll walk through, maybe they're digging some stuff out of behind LACMA. They're digging some stuff out of the tar pits there. That's always cool to look. They can climb on the big sloth, like whatever. We can walk through that way. And hopefully we can get across the street before they start crying. Because we've already walked half a mile and we've been in the car for 48 minutes.
This sounds like real lived experience.
Oh my God, yes. I've done this so many times.
Yeah. And then you get there and then it's like, oh, look, this is some of the most famous artwork in the world. Like, Dad, I got to go to the bathroom. Can we go to the gift shop? I don't want to be here.
Do they have ice cream here?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I go back outside.
Do they have snacks?
Outside I want.
Yeah. Yeah, can I lay on the floor though? I just can't. I can't do it.
There's a scary looking stranger kind of in that corner. Can I go stand too close to him?
Yeah.
I'm like, no, stop that.
Yeah.
I swear there was like gum under the chair over there. I'm just gonna go
Yeah.
put that in my mouth. Like, oh.
You know what escalators are great for? Running.
Yeah.
Running down. I want to go up and down, up and down, up and down. Yeah.
Yeah. We had one of those experiences. And the other thing though too, driving through Hollywood is it's not just how long does it take, but how far back in like a time machine, like every block, the story is, oh yeah, remember we used to be there. Remember that place? Oh yeah, we went there. We did that thing. Like, oh my God. Like you're really like driving through like a weird ghost world, and it's all just condos now. And I've learned this term 5/1, where it's
What's
like a 5-story condo over retail. I think there must be some sort of zoning thing or some kind of permitting thing that they can build those easier than. It's not a high rise. It's not a single story. It's not just retail. It's 5/1. So you get retail on the bottom and then 5 stories of condos on top of it. Yeah. It seems to be everywhere. It's just every corner where there was I don't know, anything, whatever was there. A grocery store is gone. And it's just this weird boxy architecture.
Yeah. We were in Echo Park last night, and I was walking around going, oh, it happened. This is the thing that they've been talking about for 25 years. And I'm like, yep, here it is. These are like fancy condos right in the middle of where people used to just sit and shoot up. And you just walk right by them, go into some house party or something.
Right. Well, yeah. So that's the funny part of it too, because so then we get to being nostalgic or reminiscing, and then you're telling the stories. You know, your wife and I, my wife and I were telling stories with these little kids in the background, and then you were also censoring the stories as we're telling it. Like, and you're like, am I nostalgic for this thing? And I'm trying to impart to the kids how good it used to be. And you're like, well, it was it was kind of sketchy. That was, you also got robbed at gunpoint on that block. And your car got broken into. And there was a fight.
My friend got threatened with a guy with a hammer when he was getting out of his car to give him his wallet. And he looked up and he was holding a hammer. So that happened too. But
but it was better. Even with that, it still was better than this.
Awesome.
Whatever the fuck this is. There was parking at least. At least you could park and get out of the car. Now you can't. There was a chance you could get robbed versus you're definitely going to get robbed trying to park anywhere. They're going to charge you $40 for parking. There was at least you had a fighting chance of not being robbed when you got out of the car. Back then, now you're definitely going to get robbed in some way. The barista is going to turn the screen around and just ask you a couple questions.
Yeah.
Now that's a different form of like, this is a hold up in a whole different kind of way. Like I just bought a $9 latte and then they want $4 for a tip. Like I'm definitely being robbed here.
Yeah.
This is like 30 cents worth of product.
Where they announce when you don't tip.
Oh no.
Like,
what's that?
He didn't tip.
Have you seen
Ring
that?
the bell?
No.
But it's going to get to that point.
No. I know there's the spit button has to be pressed. Like, okay, I'm just going to turn this back around. Like, okay, real good.
Yep.
Real good. We got
Make this one taste real good.
Yep. This guy's a big spender over here. 5/1s, also known as 1+5 or a podium building, is a type of multifamily residential commonly found in urban areas in North America. Mid-rise buildings normally constructed with 4 or 5 wood frame stories above a concrete podium, usually for retail or resident amenity space.
Okay. Let's be honest. No families are living there.
Maximum permissible 5 floors combustible construction, type 3 or type 5 over a fire-resistant type 1 podium. So the bottom floor is concrete and the rest are all
so the store will be saved. Everything else can just start on fire. That's fine. Okay, good.
And then you could put underground parking also. There's an option for these.
It's fancy.
Interesting. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I'm good with being with Los Angeles becoming more dense, but
I guess so.
It does.
The first example was in Los Angeles in 1996.
96.
So,
that seems late.
These. Yeah,
that seems late. I feel like that's like a thing. Like I feel like San Francisco is kind of like that, right? Don't they have like the houses and then they have little shops on the corners and stuff?
But
apartments.
Even that's different. Yeah, there's a multifamily 5/1 building that is wrapped around a central parking garage is sometimes called a wrap or a Texas donut. This style is common in areas with high parking.
I'm just going to call it a Texas donut. Yeah. Every time I come to Los Angeles, there's another Texas donut there.
Texas donut going.
Give me another smoke.
It's criticized for their architectural blandness. The jurisdiction's regulations, multi-story wood frame structures after an under construction apartment complex burned to the ground downtown Waltham, Massachusetts in 2017.
Gotham City?
Yeah, Waltham. I don't know. It's Massachusetts. It's not pronounced how it's written. That's anyway. Wow. So there's criticisms, but they're out there. Tiki-taki, mixed use development.
Well,
3-decker. Yeah. Anyway. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's great as long as they update the public transit should be great in LA by now. People have been complaining about it for
with population
50
density?
years. Yeah. I mean, come on. Get a couple of trains just going right down Sunset. You're good. Get like some trolleys like San Francisco. I like jumping on those trolleys in San Francisco.
Well, that's like Who Framed Roger Rabbit when the tire company bought the Red Line, the trolley.
Yeah.
Took them apart.
We used to live right across the street from where the Red Line, where the bridge went over by Fletcher.
Oh, okay.
And we used to live right on the back side of that. And so you could walk from our house and I'd take these walks up the other road. And then there's this big, wonderful open green space where there used to be the train tracks. And it's like the High Line. It made me happy and sad at the same time because I liked the big open green space. It was also very sketchy back there. There's a lot of stuff going on.
The nostalgia.
Like, just walking my dog, guys. Just walking my dog. I'm gonna keep my eyes up. I'm gonna keep looking straight forward, and I'm not going to see anybody in the woods doing devious things.
It wasn't me. I didn't see.
Yeah, it wasn't me.
Yeah, well, it's hard. I've seen things, some criticism in the LA area, like in Koreatown. I think some landlords were turning the parking underneath, like little parking outlets, or little like underneath the building kind of, how you could park underneath the building, like not in an underground thing, but like on the street level, like almost like a little cutout. They're turning those into living spaces, and so they're reducing the area of parking that a building provides. In those older kind of places.
Yeah.
Sounds nuts.
And all the kind of anti-car people are like, yeah, of course, we shouldn't have as many cars. And you're like, totally agree.
Not how it's going to work,
but also you have to create an option so that the people who do ride the bus or ride the train, it doesn't take
smell like piss
3 hours to get somewhere, like to go 4 miles. So
don't know. Yeah.
We should fix Los Angeles, Randy. That's what we should do.
Was that is that our job?
I mean, I feel like we've done enough talking. It's time to get our pickaxes out and start a digging.
We've got to run for office.
I thought Elon Musk was doing the boring company. I think he was going to bore holes underneath Los Angeles.
It is pretty boring.
It is pretty boring. Oh my God. So many great conspiracy theories right now about Elon Musk. They're all over the place.
I got to protect.
Did you see the list
sometimes.
Did you send it to me? The list of broken promises from Elon Musk.
Oh no.
You know how like in all of his things, he's like, by the year 2017, we're going to have driverless cars everywhere. All that stuff.
Oh, right.
Well, some guy finally went back and just did the list of like, okay, so I'm going to take all of the things and then I'm just going to make a checklist. How many of those things got done? And it was literally 95% were all lies. And even the 5%, it was like, sketchy at best. If that was like, okay, maybe there were 10 driverless cars, but it wasn't, or whatever.
Oh,
but he went through all of it and he's like, literally, he did nothing, not one of his things came true at all. Not even close.
I don't get
Fire him. Fire Elon Musk. That's what I said.
I don't even know. Yeah. What does he do?
That's what I'm saying. From everything.
Yeah. Well, I'll make sure when I go to buy another car, it won't be a Tesla. Have you seen these like anti-Elon Tesla stickers?
No.
Like, oh, Elon, I owned this before Elon Musk went crazy.
Yes.
Before he dropped the value, the anti-Elon Tesla car club.
Listen, you don't want to hate the guy that's making electric cars either. You're like, yeah, no, I like that.
I like electric cars.
Maybe. I like less gas cars. Sure. I do think that there's probably a lithium issue that we're going to also deal with. That's maybe, even worse than gas, or maybe not. I don't know. But there's definitely a lot of there's definitely some issues with lithium mining and how that's done. Sure. So if we can get to that too, but come on, don't make me hate the electric car guy. It sucks.
Yeah, we got to have hope in something. There has to be something that works in this world, doesn't there?
Yeah. Come on, one of those billionaires has to be a nice cat.
Yeah.
You became a billionaire because you're a nice guy, right? No, all those people that just played the game and did really good things, made a lot of friends, and just became a billionaire. Remember that guy? Yeah. Totally happens.
Speaking of which, you've heard me proclaim the greatness that is the show The Rockford Files.
Yes.
For the last few months. I just found out they're going to reboot it. They're going to remake it. And it just really felt like, I was like, how am I 6 months ahead of whatever's happening here? I don't know who's going to be in it. I don't know what's going to happen, but I just heard that they're rebooting it. I think my influence, me talking about it for the last 6 months has somehow gotten into the ears of the people at Universal Studios, NBC.
That makes a lot of sense. They've been watching your account.
Yeah. Randy Randall's watching he's watching a lot of Rockford Files. That's really random.
All right, go on that reboot. Go on the reboot. He's 5 seasons. He's got 5 left.
I did recently join the Rockford Files Facebook page. I mean, if anything, what Facebook is designed for is talking with other old people about TV shows from some 40, 50 years ago. Do you answer
a lot of the questions, or are you just on there looking for info?
Well, I did have to answer questions in order to join, this kind of thing when you want to join a group.
Yeah.
Facebook, we have to answer some questions first.
Was it trivia? Rockford Files trivia?
Oh, yeah, Rockford Files trivia.
Really?
I had to answer that in order to get in the group because they didn't want just looky-loos.
Wow.
They wanted real fans. So I was able to answer. It was good. The questions were, when did you first see Rockford Files? And I wrote in the 80s. Reruns. And I said, who are your favorite characters from the Rockford Files? And I said, Angel, of course, because Angel's, always up for something. Is his no good kind of ex-con buddy who's always trying to rip him off, but also kind of help him, but also, it's kind of dubious. Yeah. And then I said I also like Rocky, his dad. Joseph Rockford. We'd call him Rocky. He's great. And then the last one was, what's Rockford's favorite food? And anybody who's watched the show for 4 seasons, tacos. He's always eating tacos. There's a taco place on the pier right down there. He has a trailer set up in the Paradise Cove parking lot.
Right.
Have you ever been to Paradise Cove in Malibu?
Yeah. Of course.
There's a restaurant there.
Yeah.
His trailer set up
his
there.
His trailer's right there.
And then he goes down to the pier. There used to be a pier there, I guess. I don't think there's a pier anymore, but there used to be a pier, and he would get tacos there. And it cost 10 cents for a taco, and he always have somebody else pay for it because he didn't have the money.
Because he's busy fighting crime.
He'd be eating tacos with hot sauce for breakfast. He'd have lots of meetings there. I've come to understand too that the man only gets punched every time he comes into his trailer. You would think after 6 seasons, he'd figure it out.
There's always someone else in his trailer.
There's always someone else in the trailer waiting to punch him as soon as he walks in.
Because they're mad, or they're
mistaken identity, revenge. Okay. They saw him snooping around. They wanted, get him to not snoop around. I saw this great.
Right.
The one
they're coming to threaten him.
Yeah, the one I watched today was great. He was trying to help a banker out who's looked like he's being accused of embezzling, and then found out he was part of the this like a health food group, where these businessmen would go and drink green juice and get massages and go to a chiropractor. And this place was secretly shooting them up with B12 shots that were really speed. And so all these businessmen were secretly getting hooked on meth, amphetamines, and then they were cajoled into embezzling money to feed this to the group in order to put more money into this health food chiropractic speed meth group. Wow. And then when Rockford confronted the guy about it, they tranquilized him and sent him to a mental asylum. And
that's really easy to do.
So now he's in it because the guy's brother who ran the chiropractic group, also his brother ran a mental asylum. And so they said if he had 2 choices, he could take the tranquilizers two a day and just stay tranked out there for the rest of his life, or he'd get the head on a post shot, which was a mix of like LSD, like all these things,
So they had all sorts of drugs
LSD. Yeah, they could totally just turn him into like a head on a post where there's nothing in his brain to be scrambled.
Wow.
And so that was, so it kind of crossover with One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And then he organizes a big coup to get out. But they're driving here close to up in the Sunland area. Like that's what I'm always looking for. Is just like in the background once they go on a high speed chase. I was like, I know this neighborhood. I swear that's it. That's the Wash. That's there. That's this. So it's fantastic. Cool 70s cars doing chases through the set. That's the thing. I don't know what a reboot's going to do. How are you going to get cool 70s cars to drive through 70s suburban Los Angeles? I just don't know if the show's.
Yeah, are they just going to make it new, like with chargers and like do all that? That sucks. I don't like that.
Good. No, they gotta figure out.
They should make it to where they're still stuck in the 70s.
Yes.
So they still have the 70s cars and everything.
They go back in time.
But no one ever says anything about it. It's never mentioned. Yeah. It's never talked about. They're
it's just a period piece. It's just set in the 70s.
But just the two cop, like the cop and his buddy.
They think they're living in the 70s, but the whole thing is set in today's world.
You don't even say anything about it. You don't even say anything about it. It's never mentioned. It's never. They just their aesthetic is the same as the old show, and then everything around them is modern. But no one ever says anything about it. They don't say anything about the clothes. They don't say anything about the cars. They say nothing. It's never brought up even once. It's never not joked about or anything.
I think there'd be a way to do it if it was like the son of Rockford. I'm apprehensive to give too much away because I feel like obviously they're tapping.
They're listening.
You
want a writing credit.
They're somehow illegally listening to this podcast. Normally I would encourage people to listen to the podcast. Whoever's going to steal all my ideas for the Rockford reboot. But I think if you did like son of Rockford, where he's got a picture of his dad, of James Gardner on the desk, and a picture of his grandfather Rocky. You know, it was like, hey, this is the lineage. This is where I came from. But now he would be in his 50s. He would be older. You know what I mean? So he'd be an older guy. So he'd still remember those times. And so he still drives his dad's old car like his dad. You know, he fixed it up and, you know, he still has that kind of nostalgia for the time.
What's the old car? Is it like an old, like
so it's a gold
Buick Skylark?
No, it's a gold Trans Am. It's amazing. It's not Trans Am.
Oh, right. Okay.
Let's see.
I'm kind of remembering this now.
Oh yeah. It's great. And cause he always, he's always like doing a 180 spin out, like backing up and then doing a full burn.
Muscle cars and stuff were like so many shows were based around cars.
It's a Sierra Gold Pontiac Firebird Spirit.
Oh my God.
Yeah. How do I share that? Yeah. Oh man, it looks great. And you realize it's so tiny. But Pontiac Firebird. There we go. Let's see here. I'll find it.
So many things were based around vehicles back then.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. You had the A-Team van. You had the Kit
A-Team
car.
van. You had Kit.
Even Magnum PI had his own,
Ferrari.
Yeah.
And you had like even Airwolf is based around helicopters.
Yeah. Well, I've told you my whole thing about the prevalence of helicopters in the 80s was Vietnam hangover. Amazing. You know? Like the reason there were so many helicopters is just because of the helicopter, prevalence.
Oh, right. Because of Vietnam.
Vietnam, yeah.
That makes sense.
But this car is great. And I think he did a lot of his own driving too. I think Jay Leno has one. I've seen Jay Leno, talking about the Rockford car. He's great, but he'd always look out. He's so low to the ground when he gets out of it.
So he has that car, but he also lives in a trailer.
He lives in a double wide trailer, and then the other part of the best part
was the car in good shape, or was it kind of like
it was always getting
it was a little beat
wrecked.
up?
It would start every episode in pristine shape, and then it was always going downhill. Somebody would fuck with the car.
So he's just fixing his. Well, no wonder he lived in a trailer. He's had to fix his car all the time.
Yeah. Oh, and then
I wish I could have a mortgage.
Yeah, then his dad had this great Sierra. What is this? This awesome
GMC or something.
Yeah, gray and red pickup truck. This looked great. So you'd see these two cars driving through, suburban LA of the 70s. And I think that's my favorite part of the thing is like if you don't have the car,
right?
I understand you can't drive through 70s LA, but you at least got to have cool boxy car and cool sports car. Golden sports car.
It really was all about like the General Lee, obviously.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Like all these shows had a
and payphones, lots and lots of payphones. I just don't know how you're going to do it without the without with cell phones, because so much of the show
like
to
cell
me
phones
is
just
the
ruin
setting.
it, huh?
Kind of, yeah. It's like
but again, they just. I feel like they could do it and just not even mention it.
I think it's got
like they just pull up to a payphone
like
and people are like, "What is this? What? I don't even know what that is." And he's just talking to someone on a payphone. And it's just never. You don't talk about it. People don't have to know. You don't have to give away all the info. Let the people figure it out for themselves.
Yeah. I think they definitely got.
Listen, if they can figure out all the Marvel bullshit that goes on with like 48 different worlds happening at the same time, they can use a little bit of their brains to figure out how the Rockford clan is still rocking the same vehicles and talking on payphones.
Still shot on like like film with like 70s haircuts. Everybody has got great wide lapels, cool shirts, living in trailers down by the beach.
I always am weird. Wait, go back to the one. Was that his buddy? The guy with the pink skin and the white shirt?
The bad guy. No, it's a bad guy. There's always heavy.
There's always
guys like this. There was like heavy. Yeah.
Wonder about the TV shows because, like they're shot on film, but they're shot so poorly.
What do you mean?
But it's like it's not cinema. Like it's not like a movie. It's like the lighting, but it always has this kind of pinkish. Like it's just not cinema film, like, and I wonder what that is.
Well, it's flat lighting. I think that's the biggest difference always between film and TV, especially back then.
They're just lighting it so fast.
You'd get a little bit of it.
That's lit.
Yeah. But especially, and if you're on location, you're outdoors, you know what I mean? You're using just natural lighting with a bounce. Like obviously this has a bounce card hitting them in the face with a bounce.
Way too much bounce. That has that has like the biggest silver bounce ever. Bring in the 20-foot silver panel. Let's go. We need no shadows. We got no shadows, buddy. We don't know all these. I guess they're shooting it for like back then, like people might have had TVs from the 50s.
Exactly.
So they're also like, they have to make it as flat as possible because the TVs that people are watching are probably crappy.
7 inches, 10 inches, 12 inches,
So they need to be able to
if you had a
see as much as
TV,
possible.
That's kind of what you're, topping out at in terms of bigger TVs for that time. Otherwise, you'd go to those 3-lens projector TVs to get the bigger.
Oh my God, you're right. Like our TV was probably just a little bit bigger than like a computer screen.
Yeah,
and you'd watch it from all the way across the room.
Exactly,
that's crazy.
Yeah, so you had to have this kind of just big, centered, people. But so much in the cars. Nice. It was fantastic. I don't know, man. I don't really. They've.
Should we watch some of these live on the show? Should this become like the Rockford Files
commentary
podcast? God, I have a tough enough time watching TV. Although if we could just watch them live,
this is so much better. That's why I think this show's so much better, because it's not like today's shows. I don't know. Again, like, I just think there's so much, like every scene where normally we'd be bored today. We're like, when someone gets in a car and drives away, and we're like, okay, we start looking at your phone, start doing something else. Like that's where the show actually gets good. It's like listening to something with a lot of compression. Like once the people stop singing, like, and all the stuff comes up, you're like the backgrounds, like just driving weird VW bugs down roads filled with cool cars, through buildings with cool, like hand painted signs. And ladies with like feathered hair and like tight bell bottoms. I don't know, man.
So cool.
There's definitely like, and then you kind of
what's his name in it?
Jim Rockford.
Oh, Jim. Yeah. So you got the ladies like, hey, Jim.
Yeah. Always. But he has a lawyer, Beth Davenport, who's always helping him out. And you're like, are they dating? They could be dating. But yeah, this is great.
There's a little tension. There's like a little sexual tension there all the time. And but suits I feel like the same color as the Trans Am.
Yeah, and there's enough documentation on it where I'm like looking at, I'm always looking at, like where's the location? There's a location file for every show and where they are. Like this one almost looks like Hanson Dam. I mean, this is one of the earliest ones I watched. Where you just see the cool.
Yeah.
But it's a 1977 Ford Bronco wagon blocking, his cool Pontiac Firebird.
Amazing.
You can't. That's what I'm saying. Is like the parts that should be boring to me are almost more interesting than the show. Like I find myself just watching the backgrounds, watching the cars, looking at the clothes, just looking at all that stuff way more than the actual show itself. Cause it's just like, okay, whatever.
I love that those are just the normal cars then. And now it would be like, oh, we have a Toyota Corolla boxing in a Kia
There's a
Sorento.
Weird white
There's like a Kia Sorento.
Yeah.
And like, oh God, all the cars just look the same. There's nothing interesting.
But I'm just saying, like, look at the shot. There's like a big red Cadillac, a convertible with a Masonic temple there with like maybe like a car dealership and a gas station on the corner. This is 9th and what? What is this, Wilshire they're on? It's fantastic. Yeah. It's just, bad guys in Rockford generally drive Rolls Royces or Mercedes. In this rare instance, a bad guy's driving a real big red Eldorado. But again, just, driving past wood paneled station wagon with a big camper van with an extra thing on the top, old, Carmagia next to it. It's just this, I don't know. I never think of myself as a car guy, but when you see these things, it's just like, oh, this is the kind of car guy I am. I guess I'm a 70s car guy.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit about cars now, but.
Well, okay. So now I want to actually, this is something that I remembered that I wanted to talk about from the interview.
Uh-huh.
This is bringing me back. Yeah. We're in our last 10 minutes here.
Oh, okay.
That.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So, we're back. I had to take a pee break. No, I'm just kidding. So when you brought up during the interview, you brought up Gen X looking back at nostalgia. And I think the guy who is, I
Johnny
forget his
Temple.
name, he kind of had said like, well, he didn't really, he hadn't really thought about it, but that he didn't feel like, actually, I don't want to put words in his mouth. You can listen to the interview.
Yeah.
He said what he said, but what I think too, he said he was from DC.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and I think it's interesting because there's obviously like people ask Ian MacKay all the time about like the old days or whatever. And he's like, I don't want to talk about, like he doesn't really talk about it. Really, it's not nostalgic for the past, like everything that's happening now. Mm-hmm. And I think I'm with you in thinking that Gen X doesn't want to, or says they don't want to be nostalgic. But we've been nostalgic since we were like 10. Like we were, our generation is almost like the first generation to be nostalgic, like almost materially. I mean, not really, I guess. But like
in the 90s,
we were sold a bill of goods starting in the 80s. Mm-hmm. Like they started like Happy Meals and all these things, figuring out that they could market to kids. And that would get the adults into the stuff, right? Yeah. Like instead of like dragging your kids somewhere, we're like, no, we'll just make a play area for the kids so you don't have to talk to them for an hour and they can go drown in the ball pit while you're eating a burger or whatever. But
while you smoke a pack of cigarettes inside of McDonald's.
Right. And that we were created as nostalgic beings from a young age. And I think it is interesting that there are so many people of our age that are like, at least the older, like the generations before us, it's fine to be nostalgic. They love it. They love talking about like, oh my God, back in the old days, back in the 50s, back in the 60s, it was da-da-da-da. And then for us, it's like, well, I mean, it was great back then. I used to ride my bike, but I'm not going to get nostalgic over it, And I'm like, why? I love it. Can we talk? I love hearing the stories. I love hearing the part where everything else, all the bad stuff is edited out or all the other stuff. And you're hearing these great stories about the 90s or the old punk hardcore days or whatever. But I do think it's funny that there is something about our generation that is a little bit hesitant to be nostalgic. Like we want to be still kind of too cool, I think. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people still want to be too cool and like, no. That was the cool thing about the 90s and 2000s is that we got to be too cool back then. And now we can look back and go like, remember when we were too cool for everything? That was awesome. I loved it. Remember how judgmental we were about every single little thing? And like, if something sounded a little bit too metal, it couldn't be punk. And then we used to get in fights over it. That was amazing. It was awesome.
Yeah.
I loved
it. Took
it.
ourselves so seriously. Yeah. So I've had a couple of thoughts about it since the interview. And I think obviously painting with a wide brush, a generation, it's millions of people. It's a huge thing. Okay. So it's not a one size fits all thing. Even Gen X
totally
is a very wide swath of years. I'm born in 1981. So I'm like very cuspy. I think that might, even depending on which blog post you read, I could be a millennial, or I could be an elder.
I feel like you're in the lost generation.
Elder millennial. It could be lost generation.
Yeah. You're in between X and millennial.
But I had older brothers who were born in 68 and 69, very, right in the middle, classic Gen X, and they were my heroes. I grew up worshiping my brothers, and I was raised by my brothers in a lot of ways and really hugely influenced by them. So I look up to that generation in a way still to this day, but I think I do it with a little bit of detachment where maybe I wasn't right in the middle of it. I was a little too young for some of it. So I say it all with a lot of affection. And I don't know if that always comes across, especially if I don't know the person, they don't know me. Like they could be seen as a critical eye towards that when I think about it. But I think my curiosity is always, how does it work? How does it work growing up? How does it work getting old? I don't really know. Everybody gets old for the first time. You know what I mean? It's just like doing all the dumb stuff we did as kids, for the first time, it's still now even into this age. But every generation does that. You know what I mean? It's the new time. Is the first time you're in your 50s. Like, oh shit, I don't feel like I'm in my 50s, but here I am in my 50s. And, celebrating your health and you're still alive and trying to stay young or trying to stay active and healthy and in some way, living in for the moment, living in the day. But at the same time, it's hard not to look back and, and I don't have a judgment call about that. I think it's interesting, but I think it's interesting in that my conceit is that Gen X is doing it differently than every generation has done it before. That it isn't just things were better than, and kids these days shaking your fist to the cloud. I think that's part of that irony and the detachment and the nihilism and maybe a little bit of it all, or that, disenfranchised, from the bigger political picture or story or this, I think there's a lot of ways in which you can talk about the generality, the big quote unquote Gen X sort of nostalgia that's happening and what we're living in. But I think it's in, culturally, things like Stranger Things, it's very much, those kids, if you were 14 and in the 80s in 1984, you were born in, 1970, that's kind of what, so that's one of the biggest pop culture things, but it's done so well and it's fun. But it's being experienced culturally by not just those people, but by the generations after and millennials and the younger kids, the Gen Alphas. You're all watching these things about the Gen X nostalgia experience. And even to the point, where if you were in a band in the 80s or in the 90s and, now, and you go back out on tour or you do a reunion tour, like that is profiting from nostalgia. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? But it's just it's I don't know. I'm just curious to have those conversations. And I think maybe it's poking a sore spot or a tender spot for some people. So, I don't want I don't mean to antagonize. I just think it's interesting. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I didn't take it that way either. But I could see how some people may feel as though it's, it's a bad thing to be accused of being nostalgic. And I just think like, it's cool because looking back doesn't have to happen in the same way. The way you celebrate and the way I think it's also about history. It's how you edit your history and what you tell or what you lionize and what you pass to the next generation. You know what I mean? I think those are interesting things. And we have an opportunity as we age to tell it like it is, but give it a positive thing, give it a, like we say, we do with our kids, like, oh yeah, that building used to be really dangerous, but it was really fun.
Yeah.
We've raised you children with very little danger in your life. And I don't know if you're going to experience this in your 20s. If your stories of your 20s are going to look a lot different than our stories from our 20s. It's a good thing, bad thing. I don't know. I kept you alive. I got you to your 20s. You weren't run over by a car when you were 13 in a crosswalk like I was.
Right.
You know what I mean? I survived and it made me who I was. But at the same time, you don't have that experience of waking up with the broken neck and amnesia and things You know, so I don't know. You can't put a judgment call as good, bad, or anything, but obviously it's just how life is going to be. Knock on wood. God forbid anything happens to anybody. No one was hoping those things would happen, but it's just a different fucking world.
Totally. And I do think that if you're looking at the different generations, I think we were, whether it was through our own media of like music and art and everything, or whether it was sold to us, probably a little bit of both, that we were kind of sold the bill of goods that you don't have to grow up.
Mm-hmm.
Like
right.
Our parents' generation was like, yeah, this is going to be fun, but once you get 22, you still have to have kids and grow up and
buy the
just
house.
like your dad and your mom, and you could still afford to buy a house, and those opportunities were there for you.
Work the same job
when you were younger
and get a gold
to
watch.
get a job, or also even to just get a job and like 5 months later buy a house. You know what I mean? Like, well, you have a job and you have to save up. Union? Can you save up $2,500 to put down on a house? Or whatever. Those opportunities were there, and for us, I think, like even when we got into our 20s and 30s, it was already starting to get to be like, I don't know, a house is like $90,000. That's kind of a lot of. I'd still have to save up 18 grand. I don't even have $500 or whatever. Yeah. Like, I think those things got pushed forward a little bit more. So then I think people were like, well, let's just have fun. I don't know. We're having this moment of like, be young, and the marketing is that way. In the late 90s and early 2000s, all the marketing is about being young and stay young and never age, never get old, never do this, never do that. And we are also the first generation that like multiple people, once they got jobs, started the toy collection that they always wanted to have when they were kids. Right? Because there was so much that none of us could afford, or like that we wanted, but we couldn't get it, whatever. And then when we got money, we're like, oh my God, I'm going to buy those Jordans I wanted, or I'm going to, every single thing. Like, what were you into? Because whatever you were into, there was a thing, there was a toy, there was a, and then, and, a lot of those artists, like the Cause and all of those people, like, started making toys, kind of like art toys and streetwear, and graffiti became big. And, all of those things that are kind of childlike or like not growing up or whatever, just stuck with everybody. And I think you're right. I think that's a super valid question, because it is weird. It is weird that that's also the part of the generation, like the hardcore and like even Hot Snakes and like all that stuff that happened from the 80s and the 90s. It is kind of like rock and roll now. Like, that's just a thing that doesn't change now. Like, you can start a band that sounds like Minor Threat, and that's just like, oh, it's a hardcore band. It's not like, oh, you're trying to be a band from the 80s. It's like, no.
It's a genre now.
It set these posts, like there was all these things. And then also, like, now all these bands, there's a bunch of bands that are starting out that sound kind of like that late 90s, early 2000s, shoegazy, heavy, discordant, whatever, that's coming back too. And it's not like, oh my God, you're trying to sound like this band. I'm like, oh my God, this is great. This sounds like the bands that I started with, but it's just like it's a thing now. Right.
Yeah.
And I think it's okay to look back and go, like, you guys, we can be okay with ourselves.
It's fine.
We were kids once now, and now we're old, and that's okay. We don't have to always pretend like we're like this young kid who has to be cool all the time. Not cool. I don't want to say like cool all the time, but like I think it's okay to look back at those times and be like proud of the things that happened,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man.
I think so.
I know. That's interesting. Yeah, I don't know. This has become an ongoing multi-episode topic that I find myself, because I think I'm poking my finger in my own chest too. Like, why am I so fascinated by this stuff? Like, what am I doing? What am I hoping to accomplish? But because I find, a lot of people I talk to, we're people who've accomplished things. So we're going to go back in time. We're going to do a biographical sort of thing. How did you do this? How did you get to be the person you are? And how did you do these things? And it's nothing but looking back, which is great.
And it's okay.
It informs who you are now. I mean, it's context. And I think a lot of people I talk to don't necessarily have those stories documented. You know what I mean? We're not always, I'm not interviewing Bruce Springsteen and Steven Spielberg and people, Bob Dylan, people who have had their lives, canonized for the culture writ large. You know what I mean? I think I've talked to a lot of independent and DIY artists and maybe unknown artists. And it's like, okay, what is your story? Let's get it on the mics. Let's get it recorded and shared, because I think it is different and it's interesting.
It's okay to be proud of yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And it's okay to be silly and look back and poke fun at yourself too. I feel like I do that most of the time. So
not me. Everything I did is great, very and I never did. It was perfect.
Living in the moment at all times.
Yes. Yep, always. I never second guessed myself.
Always live in the moment. Never look back. Never draw on past experiences to inform what you can do going forward. Yeah. Just live for today. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
All right. We'll end there. All right.
Go buy Rick's book.
Everybody next week. Yes. And then go see these guys on tour too. They're coming up the West Coast this week. I'm going to see them at Book Soup.
You're going to go play with them.
I am not going to play.
Maybe.
They invited me.
You're not.
No, I'm going to be in the audience.
I
think they got a lineup of very good artists who are going to do a great job.
Okay.
I enjoy being a fan. Yep. I reserve the right to be a fan only. Yeah. Absolutely. So don't go there expecting to hear me playing the music. But I will be in the audience, and we can talk about nostalgia. It'll be fun. Yes. Okay. All right. Bye.